and welcome to this session on turning practice between centers on Mandrel for gear blanks. Let us begin with the session.
Let us now look at the objectives of this session. At the end of this session, you will be able to mount the work on a mandrel, machine the work held on a mandrel. A gear is a rotating circular machine part having cut teeth. A mandrel is a tapered or cylindrical axle or a bore inserted into a hole in a piece of work to support it during machining. The workpiece used to machine a gear is called as a gear blank. Tools required to complete this operation are steel rule, outside calipers, drill bits of various size, boring bar, reamer, vernier calipers, dot punch, ball peen hammer, mandrel and mandrel block, outside micrometer, lead hammer and lubricating oil with can. Let us now learn the sequence to prepare the job for creating a gear blank. Check the size of the raw material. Hold the job on a 3-jaw chuck and check the trueness. Mount the facing tool on the tool post. Face one end of the job. Fix the drill chuck on the tailstock. Drill a hole on the workpiece using a center drill. Enlarge the diameter of the hole up to 15 mm using drill bits of 6 mm, 9 mm, 12 mm and 15 mm. Fix the boring bar on the tool post. Perform boring operation to obtain a hole of 26.98 mm. Ream the hole to 27 mm with H7 tolerance range. H7 tolerance range for 27 mm diameter hole is 27 mm to 27.025 mm. Remove the burrs from the edge of the hole by chamfering. Measure the bore size with vernier calipers. Mark the thickness of the workpiece to 20 mm from the faced end. Punch on the marked line using dot punch and ball peen hammer. Reverse and fix the workpiece on the chuck. Conduct facing operation to bring the thickness of the workpiece to 20 mm. Let us learn the sequence to drive the mandrel into the hole of the workpiece. Select the correct size of the mandrel to suit the hole of the workpiece. Clean and apply a light film of oil or soft grease on the diameter of the mandrel. Clean and lubricate the hole in the workpiece to prevent seizing when the mandrel is pressed into or out of the work. Insert the small end of the mandrel squarely into the hole by hand. The mandrel can be driven into the whole workpiece by light hammering using a lead hammer and mandrel block. The mandrel can also be driven into the workpiece using an arbor press. Place the workpiece on the arbor press table. Let the chamfered end of the hole face downwards. Press the mandrel firmly into the workpiece. If the mandrel is forced into the work tightly, it may distort or damage the bore of the workpiece. The workpiece is pressed on a solid plain mandrel and is held in position at the center of the mandrel length only by friction. Take all cuts towards the large diameter end of the mandrel and avoid taking heavy cuts. Let us now learn to turn the gear blank between centers on a mandrel. Hold the mandrel mounted with workpiece on the lathe in between the centers. Mount the turning tool on the tool post. Perform plain turning operation to reduce the diameter of the workpiece to 92 mm. Check the diameter of the machined gear blank with vernier calipers of 75 to 100 mm range. To recap, we've learned to mount the work on a mandrel, machine the work held on a mandrel.
So that's all about turning practice between centers on Mandrel for gear blanks. Hope you have understood all the concepts and exercises. See you in the next session.